Making the decision to invest in your personal growth and development can be difficult, especially when that investment is in financial coaching. If you need financial coaching, you probably feel like you're already not good with money and now you have to pay more to get better with it. It's a catch-22, and I get it. However, instead of looking at it as another expense, you need to look at it as an investment in improving your financial situation through tailored guidance, knowledge, and accountability. I've worked with hundreds of clients, and their investments have all paid off. Today, I'm interviewing a recently graduated CGS coaching client to talk about how she made the decision to invest in financial coaching and how it changed her life. Welcome to the City Girl Savings Podcast. I'm Raya Reeves, founder and finance coach of City Girl Savings. I turned my life around with budgeting many years ago, and now I'm on a mission to help others do the same. I fully believe that you can enjoy your life on a budget, and this weekly show will focus on the intersection of money and the city girl lifestyle. Join me every week along with some special guests as I share my experiences, advice, and guidance on navigating life and money as an experience-loving millennial. Vanessa is a Latina working and living in the New York City area. When Vanessa reached out to me, she couldn't get a handle on her spending. She tried to budget and save, but it just wasn't working. She had left a bad relationship that had left her in bankruptcy a few years prior, and she just couldn't get back on her financial feet. Vanessa and I started working together in November of 2021, and our time together ended 12 weeks later. In that time, Vanessa paid off 4 credit cards and was just 2 months away from paying off the remaining 3 accounts. Her credit score also jumped over 50 points during those 12 weeks. She has also managed to come in under budget every month we worked together, and she was still enjoying life. She prioritized the fun spending that mattered most, like her nails and lashes, and avoided the rest. After graduating from the coaching program, Vanessa paid off the last of her debt and was able to get her own apartment, which was always the goal. So Vanessa, the changes that you have made and continue to make since we worked together are just so amazing. Can we just talk a little bit about what life was like before financial coaching for you? Like, tell us a little bit about your background and upbringing.
Well, life before you and the coaching was stressful. I was living check to check, and I had a lot of overdrafts because I was overspending. I make the money, so I would overspend. I was actually fearful of my bank account. I was looking and taking money from one place, putting it in another, and just getting by. And that check to check life had me so stressed out. I wasn't moving forward. I wasn't even moving anywhere. I was trying other methods, like if I work harder, then more overtime, and I'll cover this with that. And then unexpected things, I didn't have that income. Then I started dipping into the credit cards and trying to cover one with the other and getting myself in just a worse predicament than I was in. And until I hit the point of, I can't do this anymore, I need the help. And you happen to pop up on my scrolling in IG. And I saw your post, and a lot of it related to me. You were speaking to me, and I said, let me check her out. I checked the price. I'm like, I can't afford this. How am I going to do this? And they said, well, free consultation. And I said, all right, let me talk to her. Let me see what I could do. And then after talking with you and vibing with you, that just really made me change and invest in myself. And the upbringing of where I come from, Colombian parents, they're immigrants. They came here in the 70s to New Jersey, and, they were always working hard, and it's work harder, save, and don't spend. And then when we're out there in the world, we're like, wait, I'm making more than they are. And I got into a great company. I worked for the water company. I was even a field worker working outside. The money was great. I even bought a property in my 30s and did the whole work hard, save money. And then unexpected occurrences happen. Life happens, injuries and surgeries. And et cetera, happen. And you lose yourself in that. And then I lost control of the money. I don't know where, but I also realize now after working with you, emotionally, I was so stressed out, and what was going on inside was actually reflecting outside, and especially financially. And I realized it after.
Wow, you covered a lot there, Vanessa. And I really want to unpack a lot of that because you're not alone. A lot of women experience this, a lot of people experience this. But you mentioned that your parents immigrated to the United States and they did, it sounds like, instill some principles in you as it relates to money. So, can you talk a little bit about how they were with money and some of the things maybe they taught you?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Mostly working hard, being responsible, paying on time, and saving. That was very big for them. And my mother was a single mother for a long time. And I saw her work multiple jobs, sit down and take hold of the finances and have us live a decent life. And the rest of my family also, they literally came here with nothing, and everyone has, thank God, grown and learned. And like I said, the work hard, that work ethic and the responsibility that was instilled in me. Not so much the budgeting, but also they limited themselves so much that in some places I was like, well, I want to live. I want to enjoy things more. I want to travel. I want to buy stuff that I like. Well, I make the money. And I had to thank you because you helped me control that a little bit more because I did get out of hand a little bit. But you know what? It was all worth it because now I know better. Therefore, I can do better, and now I'm
100%.
here for
And
sure.
it's interesting, Vanessa, because you took some positive things from like your mom, like the work hard ethic. I know how hard you work, but you also saw how she was, in terms of not overspending. And it's almost like you took that and said, well, I work hard, therefore I'm going to spend. And sometimes if you don't control it, that's when it gets out of control. But you mentioned that you purchased a property. So you obviously had some good financial principles in place. At what point in your life do you think that changed? Like, did something specific happen? I mean, I know you had the bankruptcy. Can you talk a little bit about some of that?
Oh, yeah, sure. No, I did. My credit was in a great place for me to purchase a property. I did go into it not educating myself enough to deal with the mortgages. And I got in during the time of the fluctuating bank charges and all that. I got caught in that and the lack of knowledge. And I also had injuries on the field and surgeries. So the medical costs, so emotionally, physically, that took a toll. And then getting out of there. And then I got into that relationship that I was just caught up in and trying to save a relationship, save that and my property. Something had to give, and bankruptcy was the only way out. And emotionally, I was just not in the right place. My mindset wasn't in the right place as well. And being at a low place in my life, that's when I noticed that everything started to decline. And I ended up starting back again from zero at the bankruptcy and with the relationship. And then we were struggling and going in that cycle. And you get caught up with that check to check life because, well, I have to pay the medical bills and I have to pay this and that and the rent. And then he had also issues that affected me because then, oh God, you can't cover that. Now I have to cover my expenses and yours because we can't get a flow right here when we're both making the money. And it was like literally being in the ocean without a life vest, and nowhere to find any breathing room. And getting caught up in that, just I feel like that was the lowest point, in my life. But to me, it's how you get up and you recover. And sometimes most of us say, I got it, I got it. We don't got it. And
Yes.
sometimes you gotta put that in your pocket and ask for help. and
Oof.
go to the people that know. And that's what I did. I put my pride in my pocket. And then I said, all right, let me call her. Let me see what I can do. Let me ask someone that was in my shoes. Like your story was similar. I said, all right, let me go to someone who knows and can guide me, and see what it's about. Because I didn't know much about financial planning or financial help. I just always, okay, I'm working, getting it done, and pay this, pay that. And then had an idea of where to put the money, and it wasn't working. For the first time, I said, well, wait, I used to own a property. I got to that place. I had a great credit. What happened? I got lost in the sauce and allowed life and all the challenges that were going on and trying to save everyone. This time I was able to save myself.
And at the end of the day, you have to prioritize yourself, right? Because that's all you have, you know?
Oh, and you know what? And as women, we're meant to be the caretakers, the mothers, the friends, or the girlfriend or the wife. And we put ourselves on the back burner and we help everyone else and forget about ourselves.
Mhm.
And I learned that he wasn't putting me first. I had to put me first. And when I took the decision to walk out and literally say, I'm leaving you this week, I'm out. I can't even do this anymore, and put myself first, I gained myself back. That person that I was, independent. And I literally had to rebuild who I was again. And now I'm going to be 45 and I'm redoing my life, but in a better way than where I was. And I look at that experience and the relationship and the overgiving and the codependency, because we got caught in that. And as women, we get afraid sometimes, like, oh, I can't leave. Where am I going? How am I doing this? Oh my goodness. And we were, again, surviving and not living and depending on each other to stay afloat until I took the risk and said, I'm out of here. And whatever happens, happens. And I was grateful and thankful that I had somewhere to go. My friend actually rented me his entire house and I was able to live there and stay afloat. And then things happened there. And then I never thought, oh my goodness, they sold the house quick. And I'm like, what do I do again? And thank God my family opened up the door. And, I was so grateful for my mother. And at that point I said, oh my goodness, now I'm here. What is going on? And in that I was still fixing my credit and fixing everything to get myself to this point. And it's okay to fail. It's okay to fall, but it's how you get back up, because now we have that experience. And like I said, I keep telling you this since we've been trained with your guidance and just being accountable for me. I invested back into me, and that was the strongest thing, physically, mentally, and financially. Once I got back into the gym and started moving my body and getting my body back, because I lost it during the bad relationship and the depression, you start eating. And then my mindset started to change and habits, because I was wasting a lot of money on other extracurriculars that didn't. Your little wine here, a little this, there, that adds up. And until we literally sat down, wrote it down, I saw where I was making those errors and not looking like, it's just coffee. It's just this. Oh, it's just a dinner, just a brunch, just this. And I had to change the habits. I even living sober and I'm almost a year,
Wow.
Yeah. So that changed as
Congratulations.
well, because now I go out to dinner, I'm drinking seltzer. I'm not having the extra drink. So I'm paying just for my food. Little changes, and I'm happier, staying more fit, younger. I'm able to have a trainer, get my nails and my lashes done, and, have all those things because I chose me.
Now, a lot of people struggle with making that decision to put themselves first, especially when it involves moving out or ending a relationship. Was there a specific turning point that happened for you that you could talk about? And prior to that, like, was there a point in time where you and your partner were working together financially, or had it always kind of been a little off?
From the beginning, it was a little off. He wanted to be the provider and the one, oh no, here I'll help, I'll do. And when he couldn't, then it got worse. And like I said, the first year I spent 3 years there and it was a little too long. And I was holding on to what I thought was love, but it was more of a convenience necessity. And we get caught up in settling, and the red flags were everywhere. It was like a parade of red flags. And I was so like, no, it'll get better. We tried therapy. If you have to go to all these extremes and you're putting yourself again on the back burner for what? Because you're not putting you first, and as women, we get caught up in not putting ourselves first. And I was ignoring all of those red flags financially, emotionally, physically, everything. When you start gaining the weight, when you start feeling sad every day, and then your money gets affected. Everything going on inside starts affecting the pocket. And even if you don't think, it does. And then once you make the decision, and I unfortunately saw a text message, I was using his phone for something else about the house. It came in, and he literally told somebody else, I love her, but I'm not in love. Then I'm like, what am I doing here? And everything clicked for me right away. And I said, wait, what am I doing here? That's not me. Oh, no, hell no. I'm out of here. The old me, that fighter, that worker, that independent woman, like clicked. And I said, oh, thank God she's back. And that's what I said. Oh, I love me more than I love you, because you obviously don't love me, so I'm going to do what I have to do. And I put fear aside and love for me first. And that's when I said, you know what? I make the decision, close my eyes. And when you step on the other side of fear, that's where the magic happens. And
Oh,
sometimes you just got to let go and go.
yes. Oh my gosh. First off, you made so many great points. I think one thing that I really took away from what you just said was you saw the red flags, but you chose to ignore them. And I think everybody has been in this situation, but I was having this conversation with a friend of mine. If you choose to disregard the signs or the red flags, they're just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger until you
Oh,
are
yeah.
forced to look at them. And then,
Force.
yeah, you're kind of left to pick up the pieces, which is okay. Sometimes the hardest lessons learned are those kinds. So
Oh, yeah.
I'm really sorry that you had to go through a situation like that, but I'm so happy to hear that you were able to recognize and get yourself back from it, Vanessa.
Oh, yeah. And, I'm actually grateful for the experience because it showed me who I'm not. And therefore, now I really know who I am. I really know what I want, what I won't tolerate. And now my independence, my freedom, it's like a breath of fresh air. I feel alive again when I felt dead and empty inside in that relationship, sitting on the couch, watching TV, not living, not. Now I'm traveling. I have friends everywhere. I can go places. I can experience life in its fullness. And I was, again, extracurriculars, a little drinking here and a little this, that, all those other things were filling up a void that only I could fill with my own happiness. And a lot of us put our happiness aside for everyone else. And as women, we're kind of told, like, oh, like you're the one who holds everybody up. No, hold yourself up. Everybody will figure it out. They'll be all right.
Right, right, right. Like be the
But
guide
we're
for
there
them.
dying and everybody's living their best life. No, mama, if I can give everybody an advice as a woman to woman, is make you happy. When you're happy, then everything else will follow and everybody else will figure it out. And it's a learning
Yes.
for them. They'll be all right.
Be the guide for them, right? Like if you
Great.
put yourself in the right place, the people who care about you are going to see that and it's going to
Yeah.
encourage them to do the same thing.
Oh, yeah. You'll literally lead by example. And people will be like, oh, I want to be like you. I'm like, oh, you don't know what I had to go through to get here. You know? But if I can help someone listening right now that's in an unhappy relationship, in feeling in a dead end, like I'm stuck because I felt stuck. And sometimes you look like, I can't get out. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Once you make the decision, everything else will follow. And if you need the help, ask for it. And you'd be
Yes.
surprised what you get, because investing in yourself is investing in your future.
So, like you said, put your pride in your pocket and
Mm.
move on. Honesty time. Money management is not rocket science. It just feels that way because we tie our emotions, experiences, and sometimes our self-worth to our money. That needs to change, and I'm on a mission to help drive that change. In my new free masterclass, I'm sharing 3 cold, hard facts you need to know to shift your money perspective and finally start seeing results in your situation. I'm going to show you how to level up your finances so you can begin to see forward progress with your goals and have something to show for the money you worked so hard for. The masterclass is only here for a short time and it's happening soon. So save your spot now by going to citygirlsavings.com/masterclass. I can't wait to see you there. I remember when we first spoke during that free consultation that you mentioned, and I remember you telling me that you had tried to kind of fix your situation on your own. Like at this point, you were living back at home, but nothing really had seemed to work for you. So, can you talk a little bit about what you did try to do to fix your situation?
Oh, yeah. No, I tried to budget, or what I thought I was budgeting, and then I wasn't doing the daily work. And my mindset wasn't there. I was scattered. I thought I can take on everything I had at once. And I was overwhelmed. And then I wasn't really sitting and being one with the reality of all the numbers. And I was like, what am I doing? Or I took a loan and then put the money in the wrong places. And you also helped me with my 401, little things, and my paycheck. I'm like, why do they take so much? How did it? And once you help me with little things that I didn't know, that put me in the right position to get where I'm at now. That those little details that I was missing because I just didn't know, and wasn't aware of it either because I didn't know what I was looking for. I just thought, let's pay everything and it'll all be fine. Well, then I paid everything, but then again, those little details got me right back into the same position I was in. And I'm like, well, I make the money. What am I doing wrong? And again, if you keep hitting your head against the same wall, I go, what am I not doing? I didn't see the door that was next to me, basically.
Ooh, now it's interesting because you said you tried to budget, like you tried to fix things, but you were working on too many things at once. But do you also think things were slipping through the cracks, right? Like
Yeah.
when you budget, oftentimes people forget about their hair, their nails, going out to eat, groceries. Do you
Yep.
think that those things were included when you tried to budget? And do you think that played a role?
It definitely played a role because I wasn't counting the way you showed me. I wasn't counting the little incidentals. I was counting the big bills. I was like, wait, but I have the money. Where's my money going? I was counting the car, the insurance, your basics and utilities and blah, 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 and food shopping. Okay, fine. And my nails or whatever, but I was not counting in my daily Dunkin' Donut or my little outings, with the girls going out for Saturdays or whatever, or incidental that I bought this or that. And I didn't count the little daily things that you showed me. It's the little things that count. And those little things were adding up. And then I was like, oh, that's what I wasn't seeing. Oh, like, thank you, Raya. You just put it all in perspective and getting used to being accountable for those little things that I wasn't accounting the money for. So I was literally budgeting off of wrong numbers and afraid to look at where is this money going, or I'm paying for something and I wasn't even using. I'm like, why am I subscribed to this? Little $10, that $10 added up. In a year, I was spending way more. I was like, how did this add up? And it was definitely those little details that we don't account for and miss budget completely.
I mean, again, Vanessa, like you're not alone. Like this is so common. And I think people try to budget and they forget some of the important aspects of budgeting. And then they blame the budget or they blame budgeting or they say, this just isn't for me. But there are certain things that every budget needs to be successful. And sometimes when you don't know, you don't know. So you do have to go out and seek that knowledge.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And it was also accounting for when I had the overtime or when I had different money coming in, it was going in and going out at the same time because, again, I wasn't budgeting right. And I thought I was. And I'm like, yeah, this isn't working. And what am I doing? And I was just stressed out and then got caught up in the same cycle of, what I was doing. And again, trying to take money from here, trying to put it over there from the credit card from there. And then I'm like, I'm just doing and repeating the same things. What did I waste all this money for? And where is it going? And that attention to those little details and things that I didn't know, you helped me with. I definitely suggest for people if you're going in that cycle and you're like, well, what am I doing wrong? Have someone else look at it with a different pair of eyes. And again, putting your pride in your pocket, like you're not doing it right. Or someone's perspective as a third person actually can give you that insight, like you can do this better. And your guidance was just on the money.
Well, I appreciate that. And I commend you for taking the risk to reach out. It's scary. This is a tough conversation. We live in a society that doesn't openly talk about finances, especially financial struggles. So thank you for reaching out. And I'm curious, before you did reach out for that complimentary consultation, how long had you been following me and City Girl Savings?
I would say about a month to 2 months that I would see your posts. And then I think you had put up your story and then a little quotes that you would put up and little tips. I would see them come by and there were like little flags like, hey, you're good. And then it was, again, things that I did know, but I wasn't applying it correctly. And I'm like, well, wait. And you made me accountable because then you're like, wait, you can afford me. You do have the
Yes.
money. And then I was like, how? And then when you had me literally send you everything, and I'm like, oh, it's Instagram, might be a scam, blah, blah. You think I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm just going to close my eyes and just go for it. I was like, we'll figure this out. And I'm like, all right. And when you told me weekly, and that weekly became a habit now, a good habit, because then I was sitting down with my bills, being open and honest with myself, because sometimes we don't want to look at it and we're afraid and I don't know. But you made it so easy and broke it down for me in such a way that I'm like, oh, I can do this. Oh, it's not so bad. We make it more in our heads than what it is because you simplified it for me that I was like, oh, that's what I was doing wrong. And then being more mindful of my spending, that I was like, wait, do I really need to buy this right now? Or can it wait? And you don't notice because you go into a store and then you don't realize that you walk out later and you spend over $100. I'm like, did I really need to do that right now? No, it could wait. So it was just that mindfulness and awareness of where my money was going that you helped me with. And it helped immensely.
I'm curious, had you ever done financial coaching before working with me?
Never. Never at all. And that's why I was nervous. I was like, I don't know what to expect. I didn't know, are you going to give me all these financial terms that I didn't know? Like I had worked in construction. I was on the road. I was like, and then my computer skills, I was like, all right, that's not too hot either. I had just gotten back into the office after an injury again. And I was like, how is this? And again, you simplified it. You went step by step. You didn't throw the financial terms at me. You went literally step by step, slowly so I can understand. It was clicking in my head. I was like, oh, okay, it's not that bad. It's not that scary. And sometimes we're just scared to look at it. And the fear in our minds is actually bigger and worse than actually confronting it. And once
Oh,
you confront it, you're like, oh, okay, this isn't so bad. What the hell was I scared of?
yeah, but you don't know until you know, right?
You don't know until you're there. Yep. And when you interviewed me first and I'm interviewing you, I'm like, all right, I felt that energy from you and your vibe and the confidence that came from you that, oh, this is easy. I got this. And I was like, oh, I'm glad you do. I was like, all right. And again, you said, I will be able to work this in your budget and you'll see that money didn't bother me because it was going and I was seeing the results immediately. It was a monthly. And I even had that 1 month or the 1 week. It wasn't even a month, a week that I was like, oh my God, I went back into my old habits. I forgot to write stuff down. And I literally went right back into what I was doing. And you were like, that's okay. We're still learning. And I had to also stop being so hard on myself because that also put me back into the old situation because I started feeling guilty. And then it was those things. And then I'm like, wait, why do I feel the guilt? And I had to also not just look at finances, but I had to look at my reactions and what I was going through and get back into the mindset of it's okay. If you fall, wipe it off and get back on the same track. Go back to what you were doing that was working and get it together. It's okay to mess up. We're not perfect. And I've always been a perfectionist. A lot of us, especially as women, we're like, no, we can't mess up. And we're so nervous to make an error or fall again. And like, oh God, what are we going to? Making mistakes is part of being human. Making mistakes is okay. And learning from it and getting right back on track. That's it. Even with the dieting, I would mess up a week. I'm like, oh my goodness, I didn't train, I didn't go. And I got right back on. So I was working hand in hand with my body and my finances. And now I learned that making a mistake is all right. And it actually got me further ahead than where I was.
I mean, you make such a good point. Mistakes are inevitable. Everybody makes mistakes. We cannot avoid them. So instead of always being scared to make a mistake, think about how can I learn, like you said, and bounce back from this mistake? How do I get right back on track? And I think that's the most important thing. I'm a budget coach and I'm not always in budget every month. Like this is just a fact of life. So instead of focusing on, oh, okay, I can't mess up, focus on if I do fall off track, how quickly can I get myself back to where I need to be?
Oh yeah, completely. And that's what you helped me with. You definitely helped me with that one because I was really hard on myself. Like, no, I have to be perfect. No. And like when you told me that it's okay, we have next week, we could fix it, see what you did wrong, review it, go back. And then the following couple of weeks, I was like, I'm back. You know,
Yes.
I didn't want to allow myself to get there again after the progress. That was mostly that point. But yeah, we're human. We can make mistakes and it's the learning. Once you learn, again, you know better, you'll do better.
100%. And it's really crazy that you bring this up, Vanessa, because you are validating the fact that money is so much more than knowing what to do with it. It's also your mindset and how you think about things, even like bigger terms than money, right? Like if you know that you constantly blame yourself or you feel guilty, knowing that about yourself can help you fix those things instead of just going out and spending money, right? So
Oh, yeah.
when we were working together, did you notice that you started to think differently, like about money, but also kind of about yourself?
Oh, definitely. Again, the money was reflecting on what was going on inside. When I was really in such a dark place, I was feeling all those feelings when I was in that relationship. It reflected on my money. And once I was aware of it and working with you, I was also working on myself. But the money reflected because I was being aware of the feelings that were coming up while I was going through it. So you were another therapy. Every week with you was therapy. But I was like, oh my God, I felt this way. I felt that way. And it was okay to feel. and associate with the money because I knew when I didn't feel good, I was using money or shopping to compensate for the feelings. And now that I was able to sit with the feeling, with the money, with the numbers, and I was like, wait, why am I doing this? And I took a step back and again, being more conscious of it and getting back into the mindset of, wait a minute, it's my emotions. I'm being an emotional shopper right now. I'm using my emotions and money to compensate dealing with the feelings. And for real, it was a therapy. It was just, I do miss you. I was talking to you, but it definitely made me aware and it changed my mindset. Like I said, I was working on myself physically, mentally, emotionally, and financially all in one time. So it
Yeah.
definitely worked out for the best in every way.
I mean, your progress, your results just in our time together were amazing. I know I shared some of the things like your credit score going up, paying off all that debt, but since the program, you've got your own place, which I know was always the goal. And I'm just
Yes,
so
yes.
happy for you. Can you share in your own words just some of the accomplishments you've had with money, with your mindset since you finished the program with me?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And we said it after we finished. I told her, I was like, by March, I'll be marching out of the situation. I will be in a different place. Oh my God, I can do it. I was just focused on the end. And we went from my credit being at like a 594 or something. I'm in the 700s. I just saw my credit score before we came on live and I was like, oh my God, I'm in the 700s. And I have one more card to pay and the rest are done. They gave me more credit. I was able to get my place. I'm living my best life now. I'm living and not existing. Before it was just, I was here and surviving. Now I'm living and I'm thriving. That's the only way I can put it because the accomplishments are insane. I have one more card because that was the one I had, I really threw a lot of money at. And and now I'm finally to the place where I can breathe and enjoy myself even more. Because on the budget, you even showed me that I can do these things and I didn't have to limit my nails. My self care was always big. I'm big on my lashes, my nails, and my self care and all of that. And I didn't have to give those things up because at first I thought, oh man, I'm gonna have to give up the things that I love and not be able to do them. I was sacrificing like check to check to get all of those things done or work a little harder so I can have that. And now I was like, I don't have to work as hard. My money was always there all along. And I was just not looking at the little details that working on my finances with you helped me see and help me get that now I'm able to save, live, do, and it just feels amazing. I've always told you that I have no words to thank you. And again, focusing on, and you said you're investing in yourself and you're always so positive and help me through that. And literally gave me a boost every week. I was like, yes, Ryan, we're doing it. It was like a teamwork. I wasn't alone anymore doing it. That by the time we finished, I was like, I was having separation anxiety. I was like, oh no, what are we going to do? You're like, you can always come back. You have my number. And just knowing I have that support also helped me keep going and actually giving you progress reports, like, look where I'm at. Look what happened now. And that's always exciting too.
I mean, I love getting DMs from you sharing your wins. It just like totally fills me up. And even just as you were explaining that, I was getting a little teary eyed because exactly what you explained, Vanessa, is how it should be. Like you should be living to enjoy your life, not just existing. And I'm just so blessed and grateful to be in a position to help you and other women realize that and put the pieces in place to achieve that. So thank you. I know you're thanking
Oh,
me,
you're
but thank you.
welcome. I told you anytime I was like, I will be on your show. I will let other people know. Hopefully, our conversation today can motivate anyone on the fence that's like, Should I do it? Is it a scam? Is it what? And it's about you. When you invest in yourself, you're investing in your future and learning something that you don't know and asking for help. There's nothing to be shameful about when you do invest in you. And even when you don't think you have the money, Raya will find it. Oh yeah, that's what I know.
Yes,
Raya's
she
like,
will.
I got you, girl. When she told me that, I was like, okay, mommy, if you can find that money, let's do it. You know?
So
And you did.
overall, was it worth it? Was it worth the
Oh,
investment?
I would do it again without a doubt. Again, I'd close my eyes and take the leap. Mhm.
I mean, you mentioned, if people are on the fence, if they're worried, what words of encouragement would you give them? Because I have no doubt, Vanessa, that people are contemplating, whether it's working with me or anybody else, contemplating working with someone, but they're scared to take the leap. What would you tell them?
I would tell them to put your pride and emotions to the side, look at your situation. And if you're still in the rut or if you're still feeling stuck and you're not seeing what you're doing wrong, someone else can help. If it's not you, it could be another finance person, but find someone that you can vibe with that has that same energy and that can understand you, your situation. And that will help in the long run because you give it a try for a month and say, okay, I'm going to commit to me and allow this person to guide me. And also, if you're willing to put your money down, you better follow up too. I mean, you're paying for something. Why am I going to ignore your advice? No, I'm paying for what you have to tell me. And if I do the work, well, then it's worth it. A lot of people will put the money in and be lazy about it. Then you're being lazy with yourself. And then what did you, then it's easy to blame the person. They didn't work. No, you didn't put in the work. You want something to work, you got to put in that effort. And just like exercise, if you go and you have a coach, but you're not going to put in the work or just motivate to get up, then what's your motivation? It's a two-part deal. You're putting your money and your effort. And when you find that person, they will guide you. They'll get you there because it does work. It's you that's not doing it, So because that you said you're like, you're always doing the work. I'm like, yes, because I'm paying for your service and I'm gonna put my effort, my energy behind it. And if you're telling me the truth that this is gonna work and you got me, then I'm gonna put in that effort like you're putting your effort. And look, I was able to make the change and supersede all the expectations that I did have because I'm an overachiever and I just, showed it to you that we achieved the goals and passed it. That's what I could tell others. Like, if you're willing to make the commitment and put your money where your mouth is and put in that effort for yourself, because at the end of the day, you're going to be lazy with yourself. Then you're going to see that you're not going to get it anywhere and you're not going to get the results. But
Yeah.
that's up to the person.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I mean, you make such a good point. It's not just, okay, let me throw this money at the issue and that's that. Like, no, you're paying for the guidance of what you need to do to get the results you want. And so
Oh,
you have to do what you're supposed to do to get those results.
yeah, it's just not going to happen. It's not going to magically appear because of, oh, okay, I paid for it. It's just going to happen. No, you got to work a little bit for it and it will reap its rewards for sure. Definitely. You're the
V-
best.
Vanessa, thank you so much for
You're
sharing all of
welcome.
that, for being vulnerable. I know it's not always easy to talk about this stuff, but I so greatly appreciate you coming on this show and sharing your story, sharing your testimonial, sharing your advice. It's just so appreciated. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
you're welcome. Thank you. Anything for you, Mama. You help me in so many ways. Like I said, weekly therapy, weekly, we would just, talk like two girlfriends. You're my friend after all of this, all these weeks together. And I treasure that and your knowledge, your guidance. Like I said, with your guidance, we got here. And I thank you. And anytime you need me to talk to anyone or be a reference, I'm here for you because, like I said, everything we went through together it just was so worth it, worth the experience. And I wish you so much success and sending you so much love. You're the best.
You're so sweet. Thank you. Thank you so much for tuning into City Girl Savings today. I hope you feel empowered and inspired to master your money as you make your way to your dream life. Make sure you subscribe so you're the first to know when a new episode comes out. I truly value your thoughts and feedback, so please leave a review and let me know how this podcast has impacted you. Can't wait to chat soon and make it a great day.